The vision of Detroit Public Schools is to provide a quality education to every child in an instructional setting best suited to meet his or her needs. This vision is supported by the district's mission to educate all students in what's known as the least restrictive environment, in keeping with state and federal law.
The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, as well as our Michigan Revised Special Education Rules, reinforce the requirement of least restrictive environment.
The least restrictive environment is in the best interest of students. We must make sure that students have high quality instruction and they have rich materials and engaging practices.
Consistent with the least restrictive environment mandate of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, the district is obligated to ensure that students with disabilities are provided the maximum opportunity to remain in general education. The strategy the district is implementing to meet this requirement is called inclusion.
We believe that the vast majority of our students with special educational needs can be addressed within general education schools and within general education classrooms.
Inclusion means developing supportive schools where students are educated in the general education classroom with accommodations and supports to meet their diverse needs. As a result, we will see increased sense of belonging and acceptance for students and their families, decrease in transportation time for students, decreased fragmentation through increased coordination of services, increased integration of special education and support services into the general education classroom as much as possible in order to increase instructional time. In-class support covers a broad range of services and strategies that can be used to assist special needs children in learning the general education curriculum. Each child's needs are carefully identified, and assistance is then tailored to meet them.
That assistance might be a teacher aide. It might be a special education resource teacher who's available for consultation. Some of our resource teachers are actually co-teaching with the general education teacher. Find the word.
Third word on the line.
Play.
Drive.
Very good.
Tanya McClue is a special education aide who has been working with Jarrett and other special needs students in an inclusive classroom at Bagley Elementary. She says the key to helping Jarrett learn to read was understanding that he needed to be challenged.
And because of that, with Mr. Maroney's help, the resource room teacher, we've gotten Jarrett to reading now. And it's an excellent thing. It was excellent accomplishment for him. He has success, and yet he's still challenged.
Excitement? Yes, I'm very excited.
Jarrett's mom is very pleased with the difference inclusion has made in her son's life. And while she says the road to getting inclusion for her son has been a long and sometimes difficult one, she says seeing the difference it's made in his life has made the experience worth it.
Having Jarrett included in the general education classroom, I know was the right decision now.
And she hopes that Jarrett's progress demonstrates how valuable inclusion is to the entire district.
I think that my son, Jarrett, has taught a lot of people a lot of things. One of those things is that inclusion works.
But not every parent is so enthusiastic about inclusion. Beverly Butler, principal of Brenda Scott Middle School, recounts one such story.
The parent came in, she was very upset. She immediately stated that she wanted her son removed from computers. What Mom was concerned about was him getting a failing grade because he was slightly handicapped. He could only use one hand. We explained to her, yes, we understand that there are problems, you know, there's a handicap, but we will work with him with accommodations in the room that he will be graded on what his ability dictates. And after, I'd say, maybe 30 to 40 minutes of convincing, she was pleased. And then as she left, she said, I really didn't want him out. I just didn't want him to be in a class where he would fail.
I think we have to begin from the premise that all parents want the best for their children. They may not know how to get the best for their children, and it is our responsibility to help them.
Getting the best for every student in an inclusive classroom is what learning in the least restrictive environment is all about. All students benefit from the services and strategies used to assist those with special needs. According to research published by the Consortium on Inclusive Schooling Practices, the National Association of State Boards of Education, and Educational Leadership, the following outcomes for students have been identified in inclusive schools. Students with disabilities were found to have increased levels of social interaction with their typical peers, increased social competence and communication skills, increased skill acquisition and social acceptance due to interactive small group context, increased friendships with their same age peers that extended beyond the classroom. General education students in inclusive settings showed no decline in academic or behavioral performance, acquired a more accepting attitude about people with disabilities, and reduced fear of human differences, experienced new learning opportunities related to fairness and equity. And all students experienced opportunities for skill development in additional curricular areas, benefited from differentiated instructional strategies and organizational approaches, benefited from more outcome-based instruction, and experienced a cooperative and collaborative environment with teachers facilitating active learning processes for all students. This research is supported by the experience many Detroit public school teachers have in the inclusive classroom.
Good morning, Ms. G.
Ann Jandreski and Alicia Hill Williams are resource room teachers at Coleman A. Young Elementary School. They say treating all the students in the inclusive classroom as if there were no differences among them is key to getting the children to accept each other.
When we enter the room, we don't target our students. So the general education students don't feel that we're there just for them, or the special education students don't feel that we're there just for them. We're there for everybody. And the general education students start to become more accepting of the students with disabilities that are in the classroom.
Because they get an opportunity to see that sometimes some of the skills they may lack themselves are comparable to the skills that are lacking within the students that have been identified. So it gives them an opportunity to see that in a lot of ways they're all alike.
Laura Jawar is a pre-kindergarten general education teacher at Oakman Elementary. Her teaching partner is Washay Jackson, who specializes in teaching physically or otherwise health-impaired children.
We have 12 general needs with 5 special needs at this time in this classroom. The children are learning from each other on a daily basis. It's one of the benefits to inclusion is we have some children in their special needs while the other children are learning things from those children, just as the special needs children are learning from our general education students.
Washay Jackson also sees the importance of inclusion at such an early age as teaching lessons that will last a lifetime.
It is important to start inclusion at this level because it breaks down the barriers of segregation, discrimination, and separation for children. They learn to be sensitive to other children, and children learn from other children. They can be role models and learn appropriate behaviors as opposed to being in a segregated classroom and only learn behaviors that may be inappropriate by their peers.
It's important to note that inclusion is not mainstreaming, which tends to place special education students in general education classrooms arbitrarily and without the support they need to succeed there. The district believes that all students with disabilities can achieve at high levels if they are met with high expectations, if program providers are held to an equally high level of accountability, if the rights of all students are respected, if collaborative partnerships with families, educators, and support providers are formed and maintained, and if qualified staff and appropriate resources are available.
I think the principal is the key person in that whole process. If that principal is not on top of it and says, I'm receiving materials for my general ed classroom, but I am not receiving it for my special ed students and my special ed teachers, then those special ed students are left out. They are not able to access the curriculum. They are not able to receive the same kind of instruction that is available to the other students. So the principal is key.
Meeting these conditions will take time, but it's something Harriet Kirk says can and must be done.
Many students will have like characteristics in their learning styles, in the way they interact, and why not put them together? We call that inclusion. Children, our children, our children, and we have the knowledge, we have the skills, we have the expertise to meet the needs of each child in the least restrictive environment.
For more information on inclusion, please call Dr. Sandra Screen or Deborah Carter at 313-866-0859 or write Dr. Sandra Screen at sandra.screen@detroitkay12.org.